Hi, everybody. Mrs. McKenna here, and we are about to finish up Romeo and Juliet, looking at Act 5. Act 5 only has 3 scenes in it. Scenes 1 and 2 are on the shorter side. Scene 3 is a little bit longer. But even though this is a short act and some short scenes, a lot happens here. I think it's also kind of interesting because a lot of the stuff that's mentioned in the prologue is mentioned in Act 5. So let's take a listen. Again, I'm using myshakespeare.com. I really like this because we've got the little definitions underneath the actual word, and then we've got some videos that you can check out afterwards as well. So check those out when you get a chance. So let's take a listen to Act 5, Scene 1. We're starting off with Romeo. Romeo, he's in a great mood. He's in Mantua. He's been writing letters to Juliet. Things are great. The friar hopefully is going to help them out with getting together and, living happily ever after. So it starts off with a really good Romeo in a really good mood. And he tells us about this kind of bad dream he has. And then the mood changes pretty drastically. So let's take a listen to Romeo in a positive mood. Here we go.
If I may trust the flattering truth of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's lord sits lightly in his throne, and all this day an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think, and breathed such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor.
So it starts off with Romeo telling us about a dream where he is dead. Juliet comes and finds him dead, and then she kisses him and breathes life into him, and he revives. So again, we've got some foreshadowing here, but I believe this is the second dream Romeo talks about where he's dead in the dream. So we've got some foreshadowing here, of course. Let's keep listening.
Ah me, how sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy. News from Verona. How now, Balthazar? Didst thou not bring me letters from the friar? How doth my lady? Is my father well? How fares my Juliet? That I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well.
So Balthazar is Romeo's servant, and I'd say he's probably his friend too. They're on friendly terms. He needs to give this bad news, and he knows Romeo's mindset. He knows Romeo has, said some suicidal things lately, and he's got to give him this bad news. So it's really not a good situation right now.
Then she is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument, and her immortal part with angels lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault, and presently took post to tell it you. Oh, pardon me for bringing these ill news, since you did leave it for my office, sir.
Is it e'en so? Then I defy you, stars. Thou knowest my lodging. Get me ink and paper, and hire post horses. I will hence tonight.
I do beseech you, sir, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do import some misadventure.
So we see Romeo says, I defy you, stars. So he wants to go against his fate. He asks for ink and paper. He's going to write a letter to somebody, and he wants to rent some horses, and he will leave Mantua tonight. Where is he going to go, though? Probably to Verona, to where Juliet is buried, okay? Balthazar is like, have patience, things don't look so good, all right? It looks like you're going to make some bad choices, and Romeo does not want to listen to Balthazar.
Tush, thou art deceived. Leave me, and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar?
No, my good lord.
No matter. Get thee gone, and hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight. Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. Let's see for means. O mischief, thou art swift to enter in the thoughts of desperate men. I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts dwells, which late I noted in tattered weeds with overwhelming brows, culling of simples. Meager were his looks. Sharp misery had worn him to the bones, and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes. And about his shelves, a beggarly account of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders, and musty seeds. Remnants of pack thread and old cakes of roses were thinly scattered to make up a show.
All right, let's pause here for a second. Romeo says, "Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight." So it's pretty obvious he's saying he is going to die tonight. He's going to go to an apothecary, which we mentioned earlier. That's a druggist, kind of like a cross between maybe a pharmacist and a drug dealer. They can provide drugs that are good and drugs that are bad. So we see Romeo is going to the apothecary, and when he sees the apothecary, he can buy some poison. So let's hear a little bit more about the apothecary here, and then Romeo will actually meet the apothecary to buy the poison.
Noting this penury, to myself I said, "And if a man did need a poison now, whose sell is present death in Mantua, here lives a caitiff wretch would sell it him." Oh, this same thought did but forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me. As I remember, this should be the house. Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut. What ho, apothecary?
Who calls so loud?
Come hither, man. I see that thou art poor. Hold, there is 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon speeding gear as will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker may fall dead, and that the trunk may be discharged of breath as violently as hasty powder fired doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb.
So we see Romeo wants to give 40 ducats, which is quite a bit of money, and he wants poison that will be fast and will kill him, okay? And the apothecary is going to tell us it's illegal for him to do that, and Romeo is going to convince him with money to sell it.
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
Art thou so bare and full of wretchedness and fearest to die? Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starveth in thy eyes, contempt and beggary hangs upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich. Then be not poor, but break it, and take this.
My poverty, but not my will, consents.
I pay thy poverty, and not thy will.
Put this in any liquid thing you will, and drink it off, and if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight.
There is thy gold. Worse poison to men's souls, doing more murders in this loathsome world than these poor compounds that thou mayest not sell. I sell thee poison. Thou hast sold me none. Farewell, buy food, and get thyself in flesh. Come, cordial, and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee.
So we see the apothecary gives Romeo the poison, and he tells us that it would kill 20 men. So this little bit of poison would kill 20 men immediately. And Romeo says, "Here's your gold." And he said that gold is worse poison than the actual poison he received. So Romeo's really looking down upon money, which is kind of ironic because his family is very, very wealthy. But we see that even though he has all this wealth, he is still not happy. We see him. He buys the poison. He has no letter from Friar Lawrence about the Juliet situation. He hears Juliet's in her grave, and he's going to go to that grave and kill himself there. So it's very sad to think about. We're going to continue on with Act 5, Scene 2 in the next video. Thanks for listening.